morning. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Pitch Strike Chronicles. I am Uncle Tats. I'm here with Rubino and Donald. And the Yankees are giving us quite the treat on the West Coast trip, where years ago it used to be dreading going out west because they would always have that lag and just struggle and struggle and struggle. But the tide seems to have turned because the Yankees now, after last night's win, now have locked in 7 straight series wins, which is something that really what you don't want to go on win streaks. Those are nice, but you want to come away winning series. That's what gets you into the postseason. That's what gets you the division. And that's really what gets you confident that you're never out of it. And as the season goes on, you just want to be able to say that you can stand your ground against any team and take 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4, whatever it may be. But last night, real quick, because we're going to get into the Rocky series and do our awards for get caught up with that and put that behind us, because that I would say before we just went live, that should have been a much easier series with that team. But hey, that's baseball season. But last night, I think was probably one of the biggest nail biters of the year. With Devin Williams in the ninth, Rob and I interacted a little bit on X after the game because it was like, I think we can all say confidently that Devin Williams does not handle the pressure in New York as a closer. He might have been successful, with his other club, but I think that, you don't want to burn out Weaver. I think that's really what it was. Give him a day off, but geez, that was a little scary last night because that after the outing with Rodon, that's not a game you just want to throw away. Donald, what do you think about Williams kind of scaring the shit out of everybody last night?
Here's the scary thing, man. You said he kind of handled New York. He was pitching in Anaheim yesterday. He still can't handle it. So, it was worth a try because I was starting to warm to him, and I was thinking maybe he could actually possibly get back to being the closer that we acquired. So we gave him a pretty much a no stress situation yesterday. I mean, it couldn't be less stressful. Rodon gave you 7 innings, 10 strikeouts, shutout. The Angels looked cooked. Yankees were up 3, the 9th inning. I mean, that's pretty much, if there's going to be a save situation, that's about as unstressful as it could possibly be, especially without any Mike Trout in the lineup. You should be able to navigate it. You couldn't. You absolutely couldn't. So that's pretty much locked it in now that we should never see Williams as a closer again. I think 8th inning until the Yankees decide what they should do with him, whether they should trade him or not. He might just not be a fit here. Maybe you trade him, get some assets because you can't re-sign him. That's a non-starter now. His ERA's 6.75 going into June. I mean that's not unworkable.
Well, it's unacceptable.
It's you can't work with that. What can you do with that? So that's a shame because if you really look at it, he is the only black mark to this season. The only guy of all our regulars that just hasn't shown up. You know, we would have said Marcus Stroman, but luckily he got hurt ages ago, so I've kind of forgotten about him. But if you look at it, of all our starters, of all our relievers, of our regular rotation guys and our regular relievers, he is by far the worst performer of all of us, all of the guys that would, by far. I don't think there's any competition. People are going nuts with Volpe. Volpe's having a great season in comparison to Williams. Volpe's in the top 10 of RBIs in the American League, so it's kind of funny that there's such a focus on him when you go Williams is pitching to a 7 ERA. He's just been dreadful. So I don't think it's workable. Obviously Weaver's our closer. I don't blame Boone for giving it a go. He just showed you that he can't do it. and the sooner we realize that, the better. He shouldn't be anywhere near any more ninth innings. Um, I'm not sure how more of a comfortable spot you could possibly think of to put him in, and so it's not a great sign. Eighth inning until they decide what the hell they should do is my idea. I don't think there would be. I actually think it would be a good idea to trade him at the deadline, get some assets. Some team will want a closer. Um, the Yankees have an incredible ability to generate really good relievers out of absolutely nothing. It's called the Matt Blake factory. So, I mean, do we desperately need Williams to be our eighth inning guy? I mean, I'm okay with it, but um, I also would be totally okay with trading him, getting some assets that can maybe put us towards a third baseman. And then, we're just so good at getting relievers. We Delos Santos has got like a 1 ERA. We're just doing a really good job creating relievers. Do we really need to go with a big name? You could argue no, or you could maybe acquire someone cheaper and trade Williams away. So that's my idea. I just think we should just trade him at the deadline.
I mean, I don't know if trading him at we'll have to see where we get to at that point. I think the mistake. I'm going to throw it to Rob in a second, but FJ brought it up. Boone wasted Weaver the game before in a non-save situation. Which in the moment, yeah, you want to get the series off with a win. You put your best guy out there, you lock it down, you move on to the next game. But that's the gamble of it, is having a save situation the next game. Now you've overused Weaver a little bit in a situation that it may not have particularly called for. I think he could have just used the ninth inning in reverse, and it's no harm, no foul.
You're right, Taz.
Just leave him in the eighth inning, and problem solved. He was fine there. We talked about this the other day. We said if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it definitely was a bit too early to try him out again in the ninth inning. And the thing about Weaver is true. They should have never have used him the game before. Why was he in there in a four-run lead? So it's kind of like you can blame Boone, you can't blame Boone at the same time. It's like I can't blame him for going to Williams because like you should be able to close a 3-0 game. But I can also blame him for being in that situation because why was Weaver pitching the night before when he had already pitched the final game against Colorado? You could have given him a day off in a 4-run lead. So it's like a back and forth when it comes to blaming Boone there. But Williams has to stay in the eighth inning. He seems a lot more comfortable there. He was doing it in New York. He did it against a very good Padres team in almost a situation that's almost impossible to get out of. It was bases loaded against San Diego in extra innings. We always blow that every single time, and he got out of it. And from that point, he was kind of like perfect after that San Diego game. He was really good, and just leave him there. So I would just keep him in the eighth inning. I understand why they did it. I don't think they're going to end up trading him because if he's working in the eighth inning and it leads to Weaver shutting down in the ninth, you need that dynamic 8-9, especially in October. And if Loiza can handle the seventh, you've got Cruz coming back at some point this year. Mark Leiter's been fine. The Yankees do need that bullpen to be good. If some team gives you an offer you can't refuse for him, then yeah, of course you obviously consider that. But I just leave him in the eighth inning. There's no need for it. Watching him pitch in the ninth, it's like two different pitchers. I don't know what it is. Because like 2 nights ago, even before the Colorado series, he was going against Texas. He was going against the Mets. He looked great. He looked like the Devin Williams from the last few years that was just shutting it down, winning Reliever of the Year award twice in his career. And then he goes into the ninth inning for the first time in like a few weeks, and he was just terrible. So I don't understand it. I would just leave him where it was working. Leave him in the eighth inning. But that should tell Aaron Boone that you've got to save Weaver for the save situations because outside of him, there aren't really any reliable guys in this bullpen that get you a save. So it's got to tell Aaron Boone, maybe it was a little bit of an experiment on his part. Can I go to Devin Williams on certain nights? And I think he got his answer. So I think you really have to pick and choose when you use Luke Weaver because you can't waste him. because not having him last night nearly cost us another game that we've lost about 5 or 6 of those games already this year. So thankfully it didn't backfire. Logan O'Hoppe gave us a gift swinging 3-0. But yeah, don't use Devin Williams in the ninth anymore. Just leave him where it was working, and you won't have to worry about this very much. He was great in the eighth, terrible in the ninth. I can't explain it, but it's just.
I mean, that's why I kind of agree with NFE here. It was a test for him to see if he can close, but he failed. It's as simple as that. I completely agree with that. That's why I can't necessarily blame Boone for the decision making at the time. Now, obviously, you can look in hindsight and say, why the hell did you waste Weaver's bullets on a 4-run lead? And that's not smart management. But at the time, I didn't really blame them for going to Williams as a save. It was as simple as save situation as you're going to get, and he couldn't handle it. So it's a good lesson to learn now that he can't close. But don't you think that it would be smart to trade him at the deadline? Because if you look at it, it's like you're going to lose him for nothing, right? Because we're not re-signing.
I don't think we're going to retain him now.
That ship is already well sailed, right? Wouldn't it be better to get something out of that, and then you can put that towards a third baseman at the deadline? And as I say, we could still acquire an eighth inning guy that we know that hasn't cost us 6 games already, which Williams has. So, I mean, that's my rationale. It's like I'd rather get something than nothing. I mean, eighth inning guys, you can find eighth inning guys. We found a ton of eighth inning. We've got a whole bullpen of guys that can pitch in the eighth inning, really, because they've all been very, very good. Matt Blake is a freaking genie with bullpen arms. So who's to say that we couldn't just do that anyway at the deadline? Move Williams, get something for nothing, shed some of that contract, and then put it towards the third baseman. I just think that's almost smart.
Yeah, if you can find a team that maybe you do like surplus for surplus. If there's a team out there that has an extra infielder come July, then maybe you go that route. Because you're right, we do have several guys. Like Fernando Cruz can probably handle the eighth inning, the way he's pitched so far before he got hurt. Leiter has been good. He's had a couple of hiccups, but he's been really good. Loaizaga now that he's healthy has looked fine. It's just hopefully he stays healthy, and eventually we're going to get potentially guys like F. Ross and Cousins back at some point this year that they can also handle potentially the 8th, 7th, 8th inning. So you have a bunch of middle relievers. Weaver can obviously handle the 9th. If you can get something for him, I wouldn't be opposed to it. But if we're in July and he's lowered his ERA to like somewhere in the 3s or something like that, and he's just shutting it down every time he pitches in the 8th inning, do you want to let that go? Because we've seen that kind of come back to haunt us in October in previous years where we're trying to get to the closer and someone, like, look at last year. Like, we could have used a Devin Williams type in that pressure situation last year in the World Series, and we had to go to Nestor Cortez. So I just don't want to get rid of, if he's pitching lights out by July, I don't think you do it. But if a team says, hey, we have this third baseman that you desperately need, then maybe you go that route. Or if you're able to get some prospects that you can trade a couple of other prospects, like you just said, then yeah, you entertain it. But I think you have to obviously wait and see. I don't think they're going to re-sign him. That's a pretty obvious statement. They also have to re-sign Weaver. So what's Ken saying? Diamondbacks have blown 8 saves in the past 2 weeks. Look, if they make Suarez available, then you
jump on it.
You go get him. But I can't see the Diamondbacks continuing to lose for too long. They're a stacked team. Eventually, they're going to figure it out. But
Teams
if they start to struggle,
and it might be that he's more comfortable in the National League, and he's already proven he's one of the best closers in baseball in the National League. So you might be able to sell higher than just to let him walk for nothing and risk him, because at the moment it is kind of a risk with him now. You're not guaranteed that he's going to be great every single time in the 8th inning, because this guy is starting to look like it's a mental thing with him. And that's not kind of what you want. So as Joe Girardi says, it's not what you want. I was starting to warm to him, but I mean, I think yesterday's kind of showed that I don't think that he's cut out for him, and maybe another situation would be better for him. Maybe the city is quite a lot to get a grasp of, and maybe he's just struggling to get used to the new surroundings. But as I say, he's pitching on the road in Anaheim. I mean, God, with like fucking Disney and fucking beaches and sunshine, and you can't get 3 outs there. I mean, that concerns me, man. That's as chilled as it gets. So, another thing, Luis Gil's going to come back. He's going to be back by like June. He's going to slot into the rotation. Yarborough's been amazing, as we're going to get into Yarbrough. Maybe he now goes into a sixth-man role, or Warren. One of them goes into like a middle relief role, and then that pushes up one of our guys like De Los Santos, Loaizaga, into a more high leverage spot by putting them into the bullpen. So that's another suggestion, because that might make it less of a worry if we did move on from Williams. It's certainly not a bad situation we're in. Got a lot of guys that performed very well. As I say, the only guy that just hasn't really shown up this year has been Williams. Everyone else has kind of done their jobs.
Well, I don't know if Williams hasn't shown up. He hasn't shown up for the role he was brought over for, but we were fine with him in the 8th inning. I'm hoping that this was just, not wanting to use, the misusage of Weaver the game before. I think that's what kind of handcuffed him to have to use Williams in the 9th last night. Like I said, you reverse the situations, no harm, no foul. In a 5-point game, he brings in Williams to close it out and just get us the win. We go, all right, good move, save Weaver. I think that is where a lot of the critique is coming from. As long as he doesn't do it again, I think I could live with that. Just leave, like Rob said, leave him in the 8th. That's his place. He's comfortable there. Like, how many times have we said over the years, if it's not, once it fixes itself, they try to re-break it. And if it's not broke, don't fix it. Just leave it alone.
Right, and I got a reply on Twitter from everyone's favorite trade guru, that moron. Ooh. But he apparently, by critiquing Devin Williams in the 9th inning, means that you're attacking him and not attacking anyone else in the bullpen. Devin Williams was brought in here to close games.
Yep.
He was brought here. He's getting paid nearly $9 million to shut down the 9th inning. He didn't do that. He's cost us several wins just by himself this year. This team already has, 34 wins now? They could have close to 40 if Devin Williams was doing his job in the 9th inning. And that's not just like an exaggeration. That's actually true. Like, we would be easily the best team in the American League right now, record-wise, and we'd be one of the best teams in all of baseball if Devin Williams just did his job. All while every time we critiqued him, we said, we know he's better than this. It's just the Yankees have to figure it out. We applauded Aaron Boone for having a quick hook to get him right, and we applauded Aaron Boone for not trying to switch it immediately when Williams figured it out. He had no choice last night because Weaver wasn't available. That was that was Boone's fault for him not being available, but you also can't blame Boone for saying, look, I got another closer. We have a 3-0 lead. He should be able to get me 3 outs. So I'm not attacking Devin Williams here. I'm not saying Devin Williams sucks. I'm not saying that they should have never... Even when he was having an ERA of 12, I didn't say the Yankees shouldn't have made that trade. So, you make that trade every day of the week. You had a surplus of starters, and you got a closer for it. You make that deal every single time, rental for rental. But it's just, for whatever reason, he has not been able to get it done in the 9th inning, where he was perfect in the 8th inning. I mean, almost as good as it gets in the 8th inning. So just leave him there. If you need to go to somebody else in the 9th instead of Weaver, pick a name out of a hat. Try Loaizaga, try Leiter. I don't know about Tim Hill this year. Definitely not Hamilton. But De Los Santos has been fine. He's looked really good. So Maybe you try somebody else there if Weaver's not available, but you just leave Williams where he was because it was working and he seemed to have figured it out. That's all I'm saying. He's a completely different pitcher in the 8th inning this year compared to the ninth. You watch him in the 8th, you're like, hey. You watch him in the ninth, and you're like, super soaker to the head. It's rough watching him pitch in the 9th inning this year. And you can't tell me I'm wrong. That's not me saying I hate the guy. That's not me saying he sucks. It's just that he's been terrible in the 9th, and he's been outstanding in the 8th. So what would you do as a baseball manager?
I'm hoping that outing hasn't brought him back to square one.
Right.
Because he was slowly building up the confidence. He was starting to feel pretty good, and fans were getting back on his side. And he was saying like 48 hours ago how, he was going to take him a little while to get used to being in New York City, but now he's starting to enjoy it. Things were starting to go in his favor. This is a bit of a setback for him. Now he could be back to square one, and I wonder if it's going to affect his confidence again. So that's another aspect you look at. Maybe Boone made a mistake there. But that is a good point from Duran, though, as well. Everyone was saying that Williams just needs to get the weather to warm up, and then he'll be back to himself. Well, the warm weather was pretty warm in Anaheim. So that's a concern as well. I don't know. I don't want to overdo what he's done in the 8th inning, though, because it's only been like a couple weeks, like a month, and he's been good. But we have to see. He's got time. He's got till June. But I'm telling you, man, if this continues, we should be seriously looking at moving him against some assets, because I don't know what it's like. It ain't great, but as I say, Rob, you're 100% right, man. You do that trade 100 times out of 100. I was saying it. We all wanted him. So it's not like Monday morning quarterbacking, oh, we should never have traded him. We all definitely should have traded him. It was the right thing to do. Acquire him. You're acquiring one of the best closers in baseball with a 1 ERA, and you're getting him for fucking Nestor Cortez. I mean, you do that 1,000 times out of 1,000. Anyone who says otherwise is insane. Like, this is an absolute steal of a trade. But unfortunately, some people are cut out for it. Other people aren't. Doesn't look like Williams is cut out for it.
Yeah, I think this is a conversation that really, I want to give definitely a lot of time to, because it's important to everything going forward. But let's reverse the roles a little bit, reverse the conversation. Let's get back to the Rocky series, because we still owe our fans and our friends an award segment. So with that, let's take a little step backwards. Let's get the award segment in, and not that it's just kind of like a throwaway segment. We do enjoy doing it, but I don't want to wait until the last second and then have to rush it in, because that was an interesting series that should have been a lot easier. And so the awards should be a fun segment right now.
Back in time to last week. I can barely remember the series. The Colorado Rockies and the Yankees made particularly heavy weather of this one, and it started with a 3-2 loss. And my sympathies to NFE, who had to put up with that. But the Yankees repaid his faith by absolutely torching them in the second game, 13-1. That was more like it. 10 runs in the fifth, 13 runs off 21 hits. That was definitely more like it. The Yankees probably could have stood to score more in that situation by having 21 hits. But then they made heavy weather of the rubber match, edging it out 5-4. Let's get into it. I'm going to start with Rob. Rob, who was your All Rise Award winner for the series?
Aaron Judge. He's racking them up. If he had a full season in Colorado, he'd probably hit 100. Like, he's unbelievable.
Are you kidding? Absolutely. Tats.
Yeah, it was Judge. He was loving it out in Colorado with that air. Is he he definitely stood out amongst some of the other guys that could have deserved more of a nod, but it's Judge. He's killing it.
He sure is. Well, that's nice and easy. Anyone in the chat disagree? If you do, you're out of your minds. The low key MVP. The low key. This one's easy for me. It's basically been this case the whole season. Paul Goldschmidt.
Yep.
Another one. He's walking away with the awards for me, bro. Oh, and it's now my light is falling off and chaos is happening. Must have been just the excitement of having Paul Goldschmidt win another award. That my lamp literally just leapt off the table. I don't know how that happened. Anyway, Paul Goldschmidt is the low-key MVP. He was like 3 for 4, leading off in one of the games. And just how many hits did he get in this series? It was freaking.
He had like 7, I think, something like that.
Right. Let's see. Let's count it. So the 13-1 game, he had 3. In the Rockies game, the decider, he had other 2 hits. That's 5. And in the game that we lost, I don't think he did anything wrong. He had another hit as well, so he had 6 hits. So he's my low-key MVP. Let's go with Rob.
I had Goldschmidt as well. Bellinger had a good series. I see Dorn bringing it up, but Goldschmidt's just continuing to be. If it wasn't for Judge putting up a historic season, Goldschmidt would be like an MVP candidate right now.
Mm-hmm.
So Goldschmidt gets another low key.
He could be going to the All-Star game.
He's been great.
Like 340 batting average? Are you kidding? Crazy.
Impressive.
Wild. Tats.
It's Goldschmidt, and it's not even just his bat. His glove is still. He is defying Father Time in sports, because guys at his age, with the resume he has, with the years he's not supposed to be. He's playing like a rookie. He's just having one of those years where you're like, holy shit, this is what we're gonna get. So Goldschmidt's been really exciting to watch. And he's been extremely productive. He's in the middle of everything. So, until further notice, it's going to be hard to knock those 2 guys off the MVP conversations.
So we have 3 candidates for the low key. We got Duran going with Bellinger. He's definitely going with Bellinger. Cold Italian Pizza is going with Goldie. Ken's going with Volpe. So the next vote wins between those 3 guys. So whoever in the chat you want to put in the low key, that will win the deciding vote. While we do that, let's go with a clutch award winner. Let's start with Tats.
This one could easily go to Volpe, but I didn't want to go with the obvious. I went with the, what really was meaningful to close out the series, and that was the performance from Escara.
Nice.
In that 3rd game was unstoppable. And for a part-time, for a part-time catcher, he doesn't miss. He didn't miss a beat from his previous chance to play. So that just shows his preparation to get into these games, that he is on it. And I went with Escara. I thought he's not going to get many opportunities, and he's making the most of it. That's clutch.
That's a great point. And by the way, Goldschmidt wins thanks to Jonathan and Duran changing his vote.
Good morning, Mr. Barros.
Goldschmidt wins the low key. Clutch. Tats is going with Escara. Rob.
The thing would stop muting me. Escara, yeah, he had a great game. Without him, we lose that series without JC Escara. Yeah. Believe it or not, we would have lost the fucking series to the Colorado Rockies, who have 9 wins, without JC Escara. So yeah, he absolutely gets the clutch award.
All right, clean sweep. I'm going with the driver. Let's go. What about Boy Blue? No ceremony this time. Who's your Boy Blue?
Anthony
Rob.
Volpe. Anthony Volpe. He had a big series. And he's coming off of the many criticisms he's been getting for no reason. He's having a great season. He still gets hate for some odd reason. They don't like the guy, but he's still my boy. So Anthony Volpe, you're my boy, Blue.
You're my boy Blue. All right, T. Who's your Boy Blue?
I went with Warren. I thought, surviving that first inning with the bases loaded, nobody out, only 2 runs, and then just to completely fall right back into place and give us the outing that we thought we were going to get. He's somebody that I've been very critical of and very, giving a lot of praise to. And it's also with him on the mound is a big reason why we were able to get such a big game from Escara. So I'm putting those two together. I'm giving Warren the Boy Blue.
All right. My Boy Blue, I am giving it to Jason Dominguez. He got a hit every game and got a couple of ribbies as well. I'm giving it to my man, the Martian. He's low key having a good year, man. He's had some really exciting moments. So I'm really digging what the Martian's been doing. So he is my Boy Blue. Booney. This will be interesting. They've lost a game to possibly the worst team in the history of baseball. So where do you guys sit on that?
I mean, it's really not much he could have done. He wasn't swinging the bat in that first game. The pitching was fine. I got to give him I'll give him an 8. Again, I know losing to the Rockies but you lose to the Rockies, it costs you a couple of points. Any other series you win 2 out of 3, you probably get a 9. But you lose to Colorado, you take an extra point off because we're gonna get to that for a couple of awards. But yeah, I can't give him a 10 or a 9 because you lost to Colorado.
Yeah, wow, FJ with a 1. Wow.
Let's go.
No, I had, look, they did win the series. I think in the Rocky series, I know we were kind of hitting on him a little earlier in the show, but that's a different series. That's the Angel series. I gave him an 8. I don't think there was anything he could have done different, but you got to lose 2 points just because it was the Rockies.
I'm giving him a 6. 6 out of 10. And I think that's generous.
You doubled it up, the points that he lost.
Absolutely. He really had to work really hard to get those 2 wins in Colorado for like the worst team I've seen in a long time. They're a genuinely horrible team. We should have mauled them. And it's skin to teeth stuff. So I think 6 out of 10 is pretty fair. Let's move on to the pitching award. Let's go with Robinho.
Max Fried. He's continuing to be worth more than he signed for. Lowest ERA in the American League still. Like he's unbelievable. He's putting himself as the front runner, along with some really, really good pitching in the American League for a Cy Young award. Like, he's been that damn good. Every time he pitches, you want to watch every single pitch he throws. And it doesn't matter if he's facing Colorado or if he's facing Texas or the Mets, whatever. He's doing his job. He's been an ace. When we lost our number 1, he's stepped up and been the number 1. And he and Carlos Rodon have been a phenomenal 1-2 punch. Fried has to get the award. And Dorn, we're going with the Colorado series. Just want to let
spoiler
you know.
alert: Rodon's going to win the fucking award for this Angels.
Yeah,
that's absolutely no spoiler.
Unless tonight's a
later on,
perfect
there's a
game.
no hitter or a perfect game. I think Rodon.
Right, exactly. Although shout out to Yarbrough.
Yeah,
Freaking crazy, but yeah, I think it's Fried for me. Nice and easy. Dude's crazy. 7 innings, just 1 run ball. You could argue the only run was an error, so it probably could have been 7 7 innings without a run. ZRA is still in the ones. I mean, he's walking away with the Cy Young. He's literally walking with it. No problem. Uncle Tats.
It's Freed. There's nobody else. That dude's been outstanding. Way better. Yeah, way more than what we expected. And we expected an ace. We didn't expect a super ace.
Right.
Yeah, we never even got the year that Cole won the Cy Young. He wasn't doing this.
I know.
Nope.
That's how good Freed's been. Like, it's insane.
And he's giving and you're getting the innings out of him too. It's not like he's getting it, to the 5 innings for a win and getting the hell out of Dodge. Like, he's giving you length.
Okay, next award, the L. Tats, who have you got for your L?
This was tough. But I gave it to Wells. He could have. He had opportunities to really do well with the bat. I don't want to really hate on him because he's doing really well with the pitching staff. But you finished that series, at a 201 batting average. You're just not. You're that could have been a series where you really turned it up with the bat, and you just kind of fell short for me.
That's a good point.
I mean, yeah, it's interesting though. He did have I'm pretty sure he had a big game in the middle game of the series. Let's see.
Just about everybody did.
He was 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs, and then let's see. And then in the rubber match, he
didn't play that game.
Didn't play. That was JC Escara's big game. Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, he had 3 hits in the series overall. So I don't know if he was the worst, but overall, he's had a down year, and he's not lived up to expectations because all of us were like, he's going to be going to the All-Star game as a catcher and all that stuff. Nope, that ain't happening. Rob, who's your L?
Us for losing to these guys. They took an L to the worst team in baseball history. This team has won 9 games. It's May 28th, ladies and gentlemen. We're in the summer. It's hot. It's hot as a motherfucker where I am. I don't know about you guys, but it is hot. The weather is heating up. The Colorado Rockies are as bad as it can get, and we lost the game to them, and we almost lost 2. I'm lumping the Yankees in with the L and the Hicks. Like, this does not feel like a series win to me. We almost lost 2 games to the worst team I've ever seen. Their second baseman was throwing his glove at a line drive. It doesn't get much more comical than that. And we lost to them, and we almost lost twice to them. I'll take a series win, but we should have beaten the living crap out of them. Yep. We should have scored 50 against this team. And we barely got by in that third game. Thank you, JC Escara. And we lost the first game. We scored 2 runs in Colorado against the Rockies. I'm sorry. I can't come out of that series being like, how about them Yanks? This series, sure. This one that we're playing right now, Colorado, no. You should have beaten the ever-living shit out of them and laughed about it. This 9 wins. It is May 28th. They've won 9 games. Still, they've only have 9 wins. That was their 9th win. They haven't won since. They're bad. Really bad. It's bad, and we lost to them. So they're getting both the L and the Hicks Award from me. The Yankees, even in a series win, I can't stress that enough. Losing to these guys is embarrassing, and we lost. We're one of their 9 victories. It's rough.
Yeah, this should have been a deja vu to the Brewers series to start the season.
Like, should have beat the shit out of
runs we could have put up.
And I feel bad for NFE for having to sit through that first game. I really do.
That was tough.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the Yankees deserve for that L, and I think it deserves this. I mean, losing to a 9-win Rockies team is as close to an Aaron Hicks Award as it can possibly be. Just watching that middle game where we had 21 hits, they are the worst fielding team I think I've ever seen. Ever. Like, they field the ball like it's like a middle school like softball team. Like it was like ridiculous. They weren't even fielding their positions. They were dropping the ball. They were running around like headless chickens, and it was comical. They are an awful baseball team. They don't have even a grasp of professionalism. They are a horrible team. I don't even know how this Yankee team lost a game to them. And I know it's like, in general, it's like very difficult to sweep series, but this one is one of those ones that, yeah, you barely needed to have half an effort and you would have swept them. So I don't know what happened in that first game, like, especially with zero air there. So every fly ball should be going out of the yard, and they just didn't do anything. And as you saw in the middle game, as soon as they made contact, the Rockies were running around and flying everywhere and like bumping into each other and falling over. It was like, it was the Keystone Cops. It was the Bad News Bears. It was everything hilarious. They are a hilariously bad baseball team, and the Yankees found a way to lose to them. So that is an Aaron Hicks award, man. Mm-hmm. And even in the rubber game, they looked like shit as well. They played like crap. Very lucky to get away with that game. So, for me, I don't take that as a series win. I'm taking it as a series loss. That was embarrassing. But we got away with it, and we're playing very well against Anaheim, so that's fine.
What's Ken saying? The Rockies have they have some talented sticks. We can visit any brothel, and I'm sure you'll find a talented stick somewhere. There's no reason we should have lost to this team. No reason.
Boom.
We lost. We scored 2 runs in a loss to the Colorado Rockies. There's no excuse for that.
2 runs in Colorado? What?
Their pitching staff is historically bad. Like,
yes.
they're bringing numbers up from the 1800s. That's how bad this team is playing right now.
Right, they are. They did. I was watching the Yes Network. I was just like, what? Their ERAs were all hilarious.
They're bringing up stats from before even I was born.
It's like playing a game on the hardest difficulty and just not adjusting the sliders to make yourself remotely have a chance. They are so fucking bad. We just witnessed the worst team in baseball last year in the White Sox, and the Rockies are running away with the title right now.
Yeah, hold my beer. Watch this. Yeah,
think about it. It is May 28th. They have 9. They have not even reached double-digit victories yet. And we lost to them. I know I should be happy that we won 2 out of 3, but we lost a game to the worst team to ever step foot on a baseball field. I think
we're happy they won the series, but we're not ecstatic that they won the series. Like, we're not jumping through hoops that they won.
If both wins were like 13-2, you're like, all right, sometimes you drop one, because they've beaten like San Francisco and San Diego this year, and I guess that's baseball. But the fact that they might not reach 10 wins by the time we get to June, and we're one of their 9 victories, it doesn't sit right with me. No. Again, their second baseman threw his glove at a ball in hopes to stop it. Like, that's Bad News Bears shit, and we lost to them.
Like it was like a middle school team. Like, they just a really bad one. Like, like one of those ones that like you play out of pity.
It just looked like they were playing defense with a blindfold on. And that's why the Rockies defense got my Hicks award, obviously, but it was that freaking bad. I'm like, it almost looked like T-ball, where the ball's hitting the infield and all 9 players run and they dive on the ball.
Yes,
nobody
that's what it was like.
I can't believe how bad they are. That's a great point. I can't believe we lost to them. I'm not going to get over that until June, at least. Until this series is over.
That's why I tweeted out, this is going to be the worst loss of the season.
They feel the ball like you drop a crumb onto the ground and then 100 ants just descend on it. That's how they field the ball. Like, they just no idea what they're doing. None. Throwing their glove at it in hope that they might stop it. It was bizarre. I don't even know how they managed to put together such an awful team. They should be fined by baseball for being this bad.
Mm-hmm.
There should be fines going around for having a team this bad and charging money to watch them. There are like teams in independent league. There are teams in single A that are significantly better than this Rockies team,
It's like
and they're all
they had that joke tweet that went out about open auditions.
right.
Maybe it's come to that. Maybe they should do that. Get some beer league guys in there. Maybe they'll actually have a chance.
Right.
It'll make for a
I'm
good
telling you, there's
movie.
independent leagues that have better players than that Rockies team.
They looked like a beer league team out there. I haven't seen a team play baseball this poorly since my dad's like men's league 20 years ago. That was a bad team. This somehow is worse than that.
I would rather watch the Portland Sea Dogs than the Colorado Rockies.
Probably more entertaining.
Right.
It's in Portland, but it's probably more entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, say nothing.
That's a random team.
But it says it all, man. They should be like
Exiled.
they should be, but they should be paying the fans to sit in the stands to watch them. 9 wins?
Yeah, it doesn't get much worse than that.
No.
I mean, you almost have to try really hard to be that bad.
Right. I mean, they used to have good players, man. Todd Helton,
Troy Tulowitzki before the injuries.
Larry Walker.
Yeah. Dante Bichette. They had good. They were in the World Series in 07. It's not like they're immune to success. It's just that they've been trying this rebuilding thing and not doing it right. It's a disservice because that is a nice stadium, and with altitude and all that, they should be able to score a bunch of runs and win some games simply off of offense alone. And I get their pitching sucks. They have Kyle Freeland of all people, who's a certain somebody wanted the Yankees to trade for. Yeah, and they suck. They simply suck. I don't. It's unfair to the fans that have to pay money to have to go watch that product because it wasn't even that bad for the Athletics, and people were. I'm not even going to finish that sentence, but we know what they were doing in the upper deck in Oakland, and the games weren't even that bad. That team didn't win 9 games in 2 months, so I mean,
that's insane. Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's our awards.
Yep. To bring it back to the Yankees, to close, there's one closing topic I want to bring up, and it's they always say when with injuries and players getting healthy that it always works itself out, right? That's always the saying, or having too many players for a position could be a good thing. I don't think that's the case this year. I think the Yankees are they're about to find themselves with some serious questions to answer. And I think they're for the first time in years, they're in a position where they're going to satisfy people and piss people off. Because like you said earlier, we talked about with Heel coming back. I think Yarborough's going to go back to the long man. I think Warren's secured himself in the rotation right now. But also, we're talking about with third base, you got, Jazz is starting his rehab. We also have Stanton right around the corner. So the Yankees have really some soul searching to do of how they're going to handle this all.
I wish Ben Rice could play third because they still don't have a third baseman. They'll have to figure that out with the at-bats because you can't sit Stanton. They're not going to get rid of him. I've seen some websites are saying they should trade him to Seattle. They're not going to trade him. They're not going to cut him. You're going to have Big G get at-bats when he's able to swing a bat in game action. That's a 30 home run type of player. You're not sitting that. But at the same time, Ben Rice just hit like a 500-foot home run yesterday against a lefty. He's starting to hit the left-handed pitchers better. So now you're going to have an interesting situation if you're Aaron Boone. But we don't know when Stanton's coming back. There's still no timetable. So
Yeah.
as of right now, there's no reason to worry. I can't wait for Jazz to come back because our second base and third base output has been nothing. I mean, Peraza went deep yesterday, thankfully, but before that, he wasn't swinging the bat well at all. DJ is terrible, as we expected. And Bebas, he's only had like 40 at-bats. I can't put too much on him, but he hasn't necessarily been good either.
DJ had like 3 hits against Colorado in that game, too.
Still has like a 580 OPS. So it's like he still has more hits than Pablo Reyes somehow. That tells you how bad Pablo Reyes is. So if it gets Pablo Reyes off the team, then please, Jazz, come back. I don't care if Jazz hits 200. If he's got like a 740, 750 OPS, we need Jazz's bat back in this lineup. Because that's like the only like black spot, like you mentioned earlier, how Williams was the black spot in the bullpen. We don't have any offense from second or third base right now. We desperately need Jazz back.
Yeah.
And then I think
miss Jazz. I actually don't.
I do. I can't watch DJ and
Defensively, he's
every day.
missed.
I think
Not even
DJ
that.
LeMahieu's did very well at second. And Perez has been amazing at third. I don't really miss I think our defense has been very good. Offense, yeah, arguably. However, Jazz is striking out like 50% of the time. I was getting kind of done.
he could still put one over. He still had like 8 home runs or something like that. He still, even with the struggles, he was still way better than anything we've gotten from Barraza, DJ, Bebas, and Reyes. So
Yeah.
I want Peraza to play, though.
Everything.
Don't get me wrong. I want Peraza playing every day, even when Jazz is back. Put Peraza at third. He's a wizard over there. But if you have Jazz, that means 8 of your 9 hitters are league average or better in terms of OPS. You can afford one struggling bat with great defense, and that's where Peraza can come in. So I can't watch DJ and a struggling third baseman every day. Whether it's Bebas, LeMahieu, Peraza, Bebas, it's just there's 2 almost automatic outs. It's kind of why you lose a game to the Rockies and almost lost a second.
Well, Cashman is obviously the latest rumor is Cashman is looking aggressively for a third baseman as we speak. Any idea which kind of names we'd be looking at?
Apparently they were trying to get Arcia before the Rockies signed him, which that's an interesting choice. I don't know. Hopefully the Cardinals just fall out of it and they can get Arenado for something. I can't think of anybody else that would really. I don't know who's. Bregman's not getting traded, obviously. There's no way they're going to trade with the Yankees anyway. I think they may have missed their opportunity. They had their chances for months to get one.
Will open up in June.
Maybe Moncada, he's swinging the bat well, and if the Angels fall out of it, they can go grab him.
That's
It's interesting that the free agent signings that we could have had that we were kind of like, blah. Like Jorge Polanco was off to a phenomenal start in Seattle, and we were all just like, no. So it's amazing how that works. Any one of those guys would have been better than what we're getting currently. Maybe Moncada, maybe Ken's right about Suarez. If the Diamondbacks are desperate to get some help in their bullpen, that could match up. I would love Suarez on this team. He's almost too perfect of a fit here.
Yeah, that would be a healthy trade. I mean, we're gonna have to. That's gonna be a trade that, like I say, sometimes the good trades hurt. That's gonna fall in that category for Suarez. We're gonna lose somebody that we don't want to have to give up.
Salute to Nick. Judge is the best hitter of our time. Period. Salute to you, man. And you're right. I honestly think that people around the league take him for granted. It's not normal what he's doing. Like batting 400 with 18 home runs. It's just not. It's not human. It's not normal. And he's making it look human. He's making it look normal. And it's definitely not. You know what I'm saying?
It's almost like when he hits 398, you're like, aw.
It got to the point. It got to the point in the Rockies game where he wasn't hitting a home run. He was just hitting line drives over the wall and driving in tons of runs. And I was like, you could have held that.
Come on, man. You scrub. Yeah, I did see one stat. This is the first time since 98 that we've had a 7-game lead in May in the AL East. Positive note to end the show on.
There you go.
dude.
Oh,
This
they
team
they
is.
are. I mean, yeah, the Red Sox look atrocious right now, but
Mhm.
yeah, the Yankees are. They're running away with it, and worry about the best record in the league later on is really they have to keep this momentum going in the division. And I don't see them really letting their foot off the gas because they're going to players that we get coming back once they're healthy. I mean, we're not even playing at full strength right now.
Yeah. Well, this weekend will be a big test with the Dodgers.
Oh, I can't wait for that series.
That'll be a big test because this month has been a
Revenge.
big test, and they've um they've passed the month test so far. Everyone was like, "Oh, this is going to be a brutal month for the Yankees," and they've kind of blitzed through it with relative ease. Um, but this weekend against the Dodgers, that's going to be a real test.
I'd say loose ball. This Yankee team is actually deeper than last year. Um, they've got tons of options. They've actually got so many options that we actually don't know how we're going to fit them all in. I think I think this team could be pretty good this year. They look really good, and things are coming together. There's a special energy that they have. We could be looking at a very special team.
Yeah, they're definitely playing with a much different mojo from last year.
Mhm.
Everything's clicking right now. Yeah, we could use a little more strength on the bench, but I mean that's just it is what it is. Like I said, once we get some of these guys healthy back, I mean think about the options on the bench on a day in day out basis. I don't think the Yankees have really hit full stride with what they can do.
I mean, last year we had two outfielders. This year we have four.
Yep.
We have four starting caliber outfielders this year. Last year we only had two. Um, and that just kind of speaks to the depth. We've just got much better depth. Um, I had another third baseman that's league average, can play some defense and hit with a little bit of pop. And there's nothing that can stop us from taking on the Tigers to win the American League. So um, I overrated the Red Sox. I didn't think that the Red Sox would be this bad. But I mean, it's still early. Luck
Yeah.
could change. The Red Sox can get hot. But at the moment, the Yankees are running away with the division.
I got to run, guys, but I want to say thank you to everyone in our chat. I know the show's about to close out in like a minute, but I do have to get going. So thank you, everyone, for watching. I will see you all on Friday. Go Yanks.
Let's go.
Thank you, Rob. And with that, we are going to close out the show. We hope everybody did enjoy having a conversation with us. We enjoyed having a conversation with you. And the Yankees will just keep on rolling. We get a go for the sweep today. So hopefully the Yankees can get that win tonight. That would be fantastic. But also to some of you on a personal note, I will not be in on Friday and will be out next week taking care of some personal things. So to all of you that do know, I'll be in touch. But I will definitely miss chat with you guys on a daily for a little while. But I promise you, I will be back. I will be around. But with that, make sure you hit that like button, hit that sub button, share this out. Your friends, family, stranger on the corner. This is the Pitch Chronicles with Uncle Tats, Donald, and you saw Robinho momentarily bowing out. So with that, wear those pinstripes of pride and play on.
Thanks, guys.